I want to introduce Doug Plasencia. Doug is the ASFPM Foundation President, former ASFPM Chair, long-term leadership role with ASFPM and with Michael Baker International currently. Doug?
Thanks, Bill. And as previously stated, what an honor to be on the podium with Josh and with General Honore. Recently, I was at an event that Josh's boss was at, Secretary Donovan, and it was also being co-hosted by the Netherlands, and the deputy ambassador was there. And I had the distinct privilege of being introduced to Secretary Donovan as the deputy ambassador for the Netherlands. And momentarily, I kind of thought, hey, this is kind of cool. And I was trying to figure out where I was going to go with this, and then I saw the security detail saying, who the hell is this guy? And I thought better to move on. So, Josh, would you tell your boss that the ambassador says hello? But I'm here today to talk to you about the ASFPM Foundation, and I have the privilege of being the president of that foundation, and just want to talk a little bit about our work. To start out, though, I need to give a thank you, and so what I would like to do is introduce some folks, and when I call out your group, please stand and remain standing. So first, I would like to call out the Executive Board of Trustees. The Executive Board, please raise. This is the group that I work with on a week in and week out basis to be able to help move the organization forward. Then we have trustees and advisors in the room, please stand. Okay. If you want to find out where the work is really being done, we have the associates. And so we have people who are moving projects forward, the associates. We could not do it without the help of the executive office. And finally, everyone that I've called so far, please keep standing. Finally, I would like everyone to stand whose corporation has contributed to the foundation or you have contributed as an individual. Please stand. What I want everyone to walk away with is that the work of the foundation itself takes an entire army to be able to move forward, whether it's the work of the volunteers or whether it's the work of our cash contributors. I would say that we are probably looking at about a 2-to-1 return in some projects in terms of volunteer help moving forward, and we get a lot done. In terms of the foundation itself, it's a separate entity of ASFPM, was formed in 1996, and we've been doing a variety of projects since that time. This is an example of where the money goes. I think some of this you are familiar with, whether you are a CFM and some of the support work that went with that, no adverse impact, flood manager. Currently we are doing state symposia in Texas, Georgia, and other locations coming up Florida. This year, some of our major projects include the Designing for Disasters. We were a co-sponsor of that exhibit at the National Building Museum. That's where I got to play the ambassador. But if you take a look at the impact of that contribution, while we were a minor contributor compared to many of the other major sponsors that were there, our dollars helped. I just saw some facts about that. Since this opened last month, 2,500 individuals who have visited that exhibit and know something about disasters. 5 major newspapers have covered this exhibit. This is going to be rolled out as an educational piece. Your dollars help support these kind of activities in terms of educating the public about the things we need to be doing. The title for today was called Holistic Coast, and we're going to talk briefly about the report. This morning I was struck by Bob Carey's presentation where he was talking about stovepipe management and he was talking about floodplains by design. In essence, if you move forward and take a look at what the foundation was doing with Holistic Coast, this is our answer on the coastal side as to what Bob was referencing this morning in terms of floodplain management activities in the Northwest. You need to have a plan, you need to have a management strategy, you need to have a vision, and frankly, you need to break down the stovepipes, hence the call for a holistic coast. But again, it takes an army to get this done. If you take a look at the corporate sponsors who contributed somewhere north of $50,000 towards this effort, I would like to have a round of applause for those sponsors. But also, if you go through and you take a look at just the names coming from all over, private sector, public sector, from the association and other locations that help pull this event off, but also help to pull this report off. The report itself is, we're trying to break away from our kind of stoic academic type reports, and we're trying to get something that's more flashy, something that can be used by citizens out there to understand what's happening in our coastal zones. And I'm just going to kind of flip through some of what we're seeing here. But again, the tie that we've been talking about in terms of the fact that our coasts themselves are resilient and can be sustainable with the right management strategy, but we've got to be smart about it. We need to look not only at the risk, we need to look at the natural functions. One of the things that we are pushing is the fact that we need to look at breaking the stovepipes. We need to pull into a holistic coast framework. And more important, we heard the general mention here today the unwise planning that might be taking place. Well, frankly, we need to flip that around because we're not going to get there without state and local leadership. And that's what this organization is doing, is to help us to educate, to go back to our state and local governments, to move forward. Hopefully, these are the kind of documents that we can produce as a foundation to help in that future effort. Likewise, you begin to take a look at aligning the federal policy and the federal programs, and you take a look at that word cloud down there in terms of just some of the programs that impact what we do in the coast. Bottom line is that was one event, that was one forum, that's one product that we'd like to do. We want to do more. But to be able to do more, we need your help. So how can you help? First and foremost, time. If you want to volunteer as an associate to be able to help lift and get things done for the foundation, come see any of us that are that are trustees or on the board. In terms of the auctions, how many of you have seen the silent auction downstairs? Okay, if you haven't seen it, go do it and take a look at it. A few surprises this afternoon. One is that we are going to be adding a few additional items that you might have an interest in. Those who want to have their very own autographed copy by the planning committee of this, we're going to auction that off. I think we're shooting for $1,000. Larry said he was Larry said he was good for that, so we'll see what happens. And then also, General Honore has graciously offered to provide an autographed copy of his book that will be down at the silent auction this afternoon. So thank you, General. Okay, the live auction. Anyone who has contributed more than $100 personally will be invited to a reception tomorrow evening where we'll have 5 or 6 very significant items. It's a lot of fun, a lot of interesting things that we do every year. I think 2 years ago, the big one was the Bourbon Tour. Last year was a race car tour. A few years ago was a World Series tour. There's some interesting events that take place, all being provided by our corporate sponsors. In terms of corporate donations, if you work in a corporation and you look and you see that you are not contributing to the donation, talk it up within your community. If you've seen your corporate donations going down, encourage them to go back up. If you're an exhibitor at this event, roughly half of our exhibitors are members of the foundation, half are not. If you're not a member of the foundation, we welcome you with open arms. In terms of personal donations, you can do those here at the conference. You can go to the registration desk, you can see us, or you can go online and look at a PayPal site. We're actually looking at some interesting side things to allow for monthly contributions, and we'll be talking more about that down the road. And finally, most important, be a foundation ambassador. It's not about the money, it's about the work that we do. And if you can do nothing more than promote the fact that the foundation is a good concept because we do products like this, we do products like supporting the Gilbert White Memorial, we do other factors like that, please do that because with that word of mouth, we will grow and be able to do more. So again, thank you all for your support and your time.